Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a weekly overview for May 9th through the 15th. I'm using my phrase deck that I made. It's basically paraphrasing from random books and manuals and magazines and corresponding page numbers, just to get different energies. I'm using the elemental hexagons. Just trying to make sure that's in the frame. And I'm using the Radley Valentine Angel deck. So I've got it focused to about here. So let's look at Sunday the 9th. I did finally look at where the planets are going to be. So in the interim, when I wasn't looking at stuff, we're getting into retrograde season again. So what's going on? Pluto is retrograde all month, and so is the North Node Gemini, which means that South Node is still Sagittarius. And what else is going on in terms of retrograde? Pre-shadow for Mercury retrograde starts on the 14th, but it doesn't actually go retrograde in Gemini until the 29th. And Saturn goes retrograde in Aquarius on the 23rd, so that's not happening until the end of the month, but there might be a pre-shadow for that. I didn't actually look. New moon on the 11th in Taurus. I think that's it. This new moon is going to be kind of talking to the Saturn retrograde pre-shadow, because the new moon is in Taurus, and Taurus is where Uranus is sitting, the ruler of Aquarius. I don't want to get too heavily into the planetary positions because I've been sort of away from that for a couple months, and I don't want it to override everything else. But let's look what's going on the 9th. Sunday, Leo energy. So we have 37 here with the number 184. Why is there a weird shadow all of a sudden? I swear to God. My computer decided to go to sleep. Hold on. Let's try that. Get the shadow from the camera. Okay. So this 37 here, I see the Chariot, I see potentially the Empress, although for some reason my brain is telling me Wands. 37 Wands. Not 3 and 7, but 37 Wands. What's like a volley of arrows. What is the... Maybe it has something to do with Chiron, because Chiron is in Aries. Oh, the moon is in Aries on the 9th, okay. But that shouldn't have anything to do with the arrows, because the arrows is Sagittarius. That's... Oh, well, although Chiron is... Where's that? No, that's different. Okay, never mind. That's weird, though. Anyway, for some reason, it's telling me Wands, but Aries energy. 3 of Wands is the Sun in Aries. And the 7 of Wands is Leo, is Mars in Leo. Okay, that's why. But it's still coming in as 37. Interesting. A volley of arrows. Okay, what's this? So we have iron. I don't think I've gotten this card that much. 26. Is that showing up there? My lighting is weird tonight. Old technology, Mars energy. Relating to the chariot, which would be 7. This is weird. Physical world structure. It's talking about coming out of the Iron Age. Currently we're in the age of technology, so maybe we're going to be seeing an overhaul of technology in regards to, I don't know why I'm talking like that. What does 37 flaming arrows have to do with iron technology, though? Let me flip over the angel card. Now, it came like upside down, but it wants to be in the challenge position. So let's see what we've got here. So we have 15 ego, Archangel Jophiel. A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. Okay. Seven of Wands is defensive. 3 of Wands is looking to the future. We have an ego here. Ego is the same as the devil. What's going on here is that there's a highlighting of technologies and information that's antiquated. Why are we doing this the old way? Because so-and-so is the boss and this is how they do it. This is how we do it here. You can't be innovative. We're doing it this way. I have tenure, and this is what's published in my book, so we're not going to revise anything because it makes me look like I'm not the king of the heap. That's ego. Materialism, Iron Age, right? We don't want to be based in technology. We want to burn fossil fuels. There's an idea of transformation by fire. Notice how 37 is almost 40. 40 is the Emperor combined with the Fool. It's making me think of like when they find the next Dalai Lama, right? Because the Dalai Lama dies, and then they find the kid who's supposed to be the Dalai Lama reincarnated, and the kid recognizes the tools, and then he becomes the next Dalai Lama. And that's kind of how I'm seeing this, as this, like, leading up to an emperor that has the Fool energy. Because this particular card has the Fool in it wearing a mask. I'm not quite sure where this is going. A lot of the times there'll be a continuing story in these weekly overviews, but sometimes it's more day by day. I think what's going on here is actually leading up to the new moon on the 11th in Taurus. Because Taurus has to do with the materialism too, and iron is very tactile. But notice that iron is also magnetic, right? There's a polarization towards old technology that is sort of locking people into doing things a certain way that isn't really necessary, right? Well, what happens if we change something? Like, utter chaos ensues. What are you so afraid of? Losing power. Losing steam. Okay. 37. let's look at Monday. I mean, this is like the pre-moon before the new moon, right? The waning moon. 9, if I'm looking at this 37 here, and I see 9, I have 4 times 9 is 36, and then I have something extra. Like, what is the extra thing? Is it the magician? Is it the ace of wands? What's going on? Why is there some kind of extra energy, right? It's like an untapped resource in the space between 4 9s and 4 10s. $37 breaks down to 10. 9 is almost 10. But it's still one more than 4 times 9, that emperor number again. I'm hearing everybody wants to rule the world by Tears for Fears. Right? Sort of forcing aspects of an age that's in the technology age to maintain this resource pattern of the Iron Age, including steel, is causing this bottleneck. Right? It's like you could have paced this technological break into the future, rolling out this Age of Aquarius, but you chose to cling to these iron bars and polarize yourself in this half backwards direction, and now you're being squeezed through the eye of the needle, which is also made of steel. So let's look at the needle here. Now we're at 10, right? That wheel is turning. Let's see what's under here. They've been asked to cooperate with you, 929. These numbers don't always really mean anything. They've been asked to cooperate with you. I don't think I've gotten that card that much. Lithium. Emotional stability. This is Justice card 11 with a number 3 on it. So we're seeing 3s, and now we see a preview of 11, and we have 10 here again. Health. Okay, let's see what the angel card's doing. A Justice again. In this deck, it's 8, though. But it has to come out as an 8, because that's what the Justice is in this deck. It's saying it's matching. But if I have 8 and 3, that's still 11. 9 and 2 is 11, plus 9 is 20, which breaks down to 2. But 2 is still related to 11. It's also this sort of high priestess number, this intuitive sense. You know, it's like, what needs to happen? The old way needs to cooperate with justice in the world. This says fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. What you know is right is felt in the heart. We have emotional stability here. Look at this water with the sun cresting on it. Cooperation means working together. It's not corporation, it's cooperation. I know that's kind of lame and like kitschy, PowerPoint's office presentation kind of language. Cooperation, not corporation. But it's like, well, if we share these patents with each other, we'll be able to build both of our resources much quicker. And I just realized I was describing what's going on with the the stabby stabbies right now. But that's not even what I was thinking about. I was thinking like energy technology. Like if we share our technology, if we share our irrigation methods, we'll be able to grow more robust food for more people, that kind of thing. Not just what's going on right now. So this new moon in Taurus has a lot to do with it's kind of the dark side of hedonism, right? It's like, it's not like we're just going to enjoy having a three-dimensional experience. We're going to devour as much of what resources we can, right? I'm going to hoard power and money and metals and things like that. That's a dark aspect. And that's going to sort of get the spotlight on it during the new moon when the darkness is dark. And we see what the problem has been, right? Digging the heels in and moving towards a more technologically fluid existence on the planet, to sort of open source justice. And I'm not talking like full throttle socialism, although that's not necessarily a bad word depending on how it's used. It's like symbiotic relationships. And let's see what's on the 11th. I'm going to start another segment. Not that it matters that I say I'm starting another segment, although I guess it explains why there's a slight jump in the camera. Because for everybody else, I was gone for no seconds. So we're looking at the 11th, which is Tuesday. Martian energy, with this universal timing 11 on it. And talking to what's going on from Sunday. But again, it's a lead up. Nurturing, take a week off, 40. So there's that 40 number I was talking about that the 37 was close to. And also notice this iron over here, 26, breaks down to 8, which is what was on this Justice card. Archangel Raguel. Okay. Nurturing, take a week off. This bean sprout isn't going to sprout if you spend every waking second looking at it. A field has to lie fallow sometimes in order for the nutrients to come back. So 27, Cobalt, Evil Spirit and Radiotherapy. Okay. This is talking about stuff that can be either poison or beneficial. I was just going to say too much technology can kill you. There's this song called Too Much Love Can Kill You, or Will Kill You. It might be a Queen song. I should know that. Whatever. But yeah, cobalt can be poison or it can be medicine. Ooh. What's that? Yeah, Chiron in Aries, Martian energy has, which is what we're doing all month, has to do with medicines as well. Self-confidence, personal wounds, but also medicine. And it could be like shamanistic medicine. It could be literally the medical field. It could be food too, right? Food is medicine. Okay, so we have the moon, 18. This came in inverted. Archangel Haniel. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. The moon inverted is the cat's out of the bag. There is a card in this deck that's the cat's out of the bag. I don't remember what color it is, so I don't know if it's in this spread or not, but I was thinking of that when I was intuited. That's not really a verb. When my intuition was to grab this deck, I thought of the cat's out of the bag card. So what are we doing? Nurturing is medicine. Self-care is medicine. Right? Vacation can be a medical expense. That kind of stuff. But if you have too much vacation, you party too hard, you might come home real sick. You might get some con crud. You might get a parasitic thing from stepping on some sand that you didn't know about. You might get that little 1-inch jellyfish up in your foot and have a real bad time on your vacation. Which would be a little bit too much medicine, where it would become toxic. You know, it's a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, but if you're having a drop of medicine in your sugar for flavor, now you're poisoning yourself. That kind of thing. But this, the cat's out of the bag. This is the revelation that's rolling through in the 10th. It's like, oh my god, we won something that's been stressing out forever. Now I've got to regroup, right? I'm not going to let it get to me, right? I'm going to have this like rebirth phase, because the new moon and the moon inverted, right? The moon is dark. It's sort of like the anti-womb. This is, when you think of the full moon, you think of something that's ready to give birth. This is like inception, conception. I'm conceiving of a new idea, of a new reality, where I turn something around. And again, I was saying this idea of the whole thing about the Dalai Lama and the little kid is, it's the emperor is coming in with a completely fresh perspective, which is what I meant with the 40 and the 0, the Fool. It's like I'm coming in with a clean slate to address problems and deal with balances in these 4 kingdoms. I don't know if I made that clear before. Hopefully that made sense. Let's look at Wednesday, the 12th, Mercurial energy. What's the way on the 13th? Oh, okay. Mercurial energy. Troublesome, frustrating goblins all up in your work, undoing your labor. That's kobolds, which is what cobalt comes from. Sometimes helpful, number 7. Again, that's the potion or poison kind of notion. You know, sometimes when your shoe comes untied and you almost trip on it and you have to stop and tie it again because you know for sure you're going to trip on it now that you know about it, and maybe you miss your bus and you're like, God damn it, I missed my bus, now I'm going to be late because of my shoelace. Then, you know, the bus gets in an accident and like 5 people get injured and you're like, oh, okay, that was a favor. right? This isn't working this way. I'm like, it's ruined. And then you have to, you know, try to come up with an emergency solution, and then all of a sudden this like universal timing clicks in and you get a download from the Akashic record and the problem is solved in a way that's much better than it was before. So these troublesome, frustrating goblins can sometimes be helpful in the way that they're undoing what's going on. Sometimes it's not sabotage, sometimes it's coyote, sometimes it's universal redirecting. We have number 12 here, which is the hangman, which is waiting for those universal downloads. So this can be a message from the universe and can sometimes be taken as a synchronicity that what 7, the chariot, helps propel you forward. Mercurial energy, 7 of swords, that also can be like ninja energy, thievery, trickery. But again, it's not always in a spiteful way. Sometimes it can be helpful. But again, it's this idea of turning the poison into something else by generating this antidote. You know, it can be like, I think it was Merryweather in the Disney movie that softened Maleficent's curse. Not really a good example, because the Disney stories are usually watered down anyway. So you have iodine. I think that's a good example too. Medical profession, health. I think if you drank a lot of iodine, you'd probably be hurting, but it's good for putting on cuts. 53, breaking down to 8, but I also see that 3 number with the 7 again. This Empress number goes back to the Taurus energy that the moon was sitting in. The 5 is a shift or a pivot. Together it's 8. It could be this justice again, but it could also be strength. Right? By shifting where my viewpoint on which things are abundant or not, I am giving myself more strength. Okay, so 6 of Earth coming in inverted, but I feel like this is supposed to be in the challenge position also. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debts. Right? Sort of like my future hangs in the balance of which way I'm taking this. New career opportunities, right? Well, maybe I'm not up the creek without the paddle. You know, what am I going to do? So this thing blew up in my face. I just lost my job. Well, it just turn around bright eyes. Total eclipse of the heart. It could be a gift. There's balance in things here. Right? What is the 6 of Pentacles anyway? Oh, it's the moon in Taurus. New moon in Taurus. Exactly this energy, right? It's... Oh, no, not going to do that hand motion. That would be sketch. There's a balance being played out here. Right? It's not always, oh, when things are going the way I want them to, then I'll be able to, you know, distribute things and everything will be great and magnanimous. It's like F on a stick. I don't know why I'm being compelled to like not swear as much right now. It's like, oh, these are all green too. Heart center activity. Right? It's like don't lead with this distorted Aries combat energy. And I'm not saying these Aries energies were distorted, except for maybe this backwards leaning technology thing. Because Aries energy can be either like aggressive, fight till we win, we ride at dawn, 37 flaming arrows kind of energy. But it can also be diplomacy and finding out what other people do, what other people need, what their interests are, and things like that. Where was I going with this? Oh, it's like when you lead with your heart instead of going into anger mode because something didn't go the way you wanted it to, you're taking the poison out, right? It's like the strength card, where in the traditional tarot, where the feminine is pulling a thorn out of the lion's paw, right? Like he was angered. 7 and 6 is 13, that's transformation. So we're also looking forward to the day of the 13th as well. I just heard Somebody Mix My Medicine by The Pretty Reckless. Somebody mix my medicine, somebody's in my head again. Okay, so we're looking at the 13th. We've got Thursday, we've got Jupiter energy. But on top of just the overall day in general, on the 13th, Jupiter moves into Pisces out of Aquarius. So it's separating from Saturn. Saturn then goes retrograde on the 23rd. It's almost like Jupiter's movement into the subconscious realm does like a kickback and starts spinning Saturn. That's how I'm seeing it in my head, even though that's like not physically true. Especially since retrograde movement is like an illusion anyway. But Jupiter day, right? Jeudi, Jupiter, Thursday. Thor is also equivalent to Zeus, which is the same as Jupiter, right? Thor's day. So the 13th, Jupiter moves into Pisces, the dream world, the subconscious, the sleepy waters. And I was talking about that in my bonus reading for Sagittarius, because that's Sagittarius energy. And I also put it in my energy report playlist because technically it explains this energy for everybody, although very specifically for Sagittarius because it's their ruling planet. But let's take a look at this flaming hot Cheeto situation here. Starlight shines upon you, confirming your time in darkness is ending. 140, or potentially number 293. 140, that's like saying I'm taking that number 40 and adding that number 1 that was trying to peek out with that difference between the 4 9s and the 37. Right? Adding 1 to the 40. There's some kind of magician thing going on, but it also breaks down to 5, which is that shift or pivot, right? If I turn the other way, like it's not, darkness and brimstone. There's, a gateway with starlight. There's a Muse song called Starlight, but I'm actually thinking more of like supermassive black hole or Knights of Sidonia. Okay. Tungsten. Ability to hold an edge. I was like, now we're cooking with gas. Tungsten carbide. That's like an upgrade in technology from basic iron, right? 26, 74. 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Earth. A very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. Tungsten. Ability to hold an edge, right? A blade can cut or it can perform a surgery. We've also got 74 here, breaking down to 11. I've got 10, I've got a completion, and I've got a pivot here. 13 is transformation and also that movement into the subconscious. Starlight to me makes me think of the night. Although the tungsten makes me think knight, like Knight of Pentacles. I want to get another card to clarify tungsten, because I don't actually know that much about it. 40 again. Zirconium, self-deception, and ornament. This to me is giving me this idea of, if you're a surgeon, every problem looks like you're going to have to cut in and remove something. This zirconium is coming in with self-deception. It's, you know, I wanted to stay in a darker place, therefore assume that everyone is in a darker place and be ready. Oh, like an arms race. You're deceiving yourself if you think that's what gives you the power of contentment in the material world. The time of darkness is ending. There is an increase for this masculine energy, right? Because 74 is that emperor number again, combined with the chariot, but I'm seeing it as 710, 7 wheels. 7 wheels, that's a fast car. It's a lot more horsepower. Did I say we're cooking with gas now for this one or the one before? No, it was for this one. There's a movement forward that's sort of turbocharged. The new moon is cracking open the darkness, and Jupiter, which rules the wheel, there's 10 here, 4 10s, 7 10s, 14 10s. There's like a time shift. The great wheel is turning. The starlight is pouring in. There's a really important, it's like the powers that be are going to have to face their own demons, because this idea of self-deception is I'm fooled by my own image. And the tungsten, this idea to hold an edge, means even the sturdiest deception is not going to be able to withstand like being popped by this tungsten blade. But again, this 10 of Pentacles comes in and says that the starlight is shifting the understanding of how to gain that material satisfaction. 14, Venus energy. 14 is Temperance, which is Sagittarian energy in the tarot. So we're looking at the 14th, Friday. Vendredi. Them some bitches have got some teeth, right? It's like, wow, those tungsten blades. Goddamn, look at those. 97, breaking down to 16, which breaks down to 7 again. But there's an idea of a tower here, right? What's coming down? This self-reinforcing ego of possession, of maintaining antiquated stuff in order to control things. Radium. Didn't I mention going on vacation and getting stabbed by one of those little tiny jellyfish? There's some jellyfish. Radium, dangerous beauty. Physical world ornament. 88. Look at that. 8 times 11. Justice and strength, no matter which way you slice it. This is going back to iodine. It's going back to cobalt. If I could talk. And I see this as physical world ornament. And because there's like suits in this deck. This zirconium, this self-deception, is also physical world ornament. If you cut through this thing where you're persuaded to believe in your own bullshit, basically, cutting through that with this new moon energy in Taurus, it's sort of like the only way to defeat this demon was by cutting its head off with a blade that was forged with its own blood folded into the metal. That's how the ego that's so involved in itself can be destroyed. And now we see that though the ego is appealing, it can be toxic. It's like, my Marie Curie, you look radiant today. Radioactive decay. Right? Because ultimately, being out of flow with the universe in terms of, even in terms of technology, can ultimately get to that bottleneck where the whole system starts to decay and there isn't anything to balance it out because it's been forced out of flow. Like a backed up toilet that's leaking down a whole complex of apartments. Oh, I just like exhaled really sharply and I thought maybe I got saliva on the card, but I don't think I did. 6 of Cups coming in inverted. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, or romanticizing the past. I don't think that the children thing really matters for this card. The 6 of Cups. Is it the Sun in Scorpio? Yeah, although inverted it says moon energy. Any card with scorpionic energy that I see tells me I need to go deeper. This is Pluto retrograde, which is in Capricorn, which is more earth energy. It's like into the bowels of the earth, into the Marianas Trench. Things that you've never seen before. Creatures that are bioluminescent. What is that? That's that stars coming into the darkness. Bioluminescence. But they are definitely more ouchy-bleedy than touchy-feely. But this inverted is like the not romanticizing the past. It's like we're not going to be stuck in this Iron Age just because you know, the fat cats that got fat on the iron trade and kept their physical wealth, right? Land, houses, and so on. Coins up and down, whatever. Valuables. There is no... you can't treasure that above what needs to flow through now, right? It's like understanding history, studying history, fine, but it's like we're not doing it the way that it was done 200, 800, 1200 years ago. That doesn't have to constantly come up and be the only emotional fulfillment. So scorpionic energy, inverted, I need to go deeper. The entirety of May has this inverted scorpionic energy because of Pluto retrograde. But with it in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, which is going to be off the rails also by the end of the month. It's like the chains are breaking. Right? Whatever was chaining your demons into like Balrog territory, you know, this boss is coming up, and you have to fight it. Right? You have to, and that it's, what is that boss? It's the ego. So let's look at Saturn. Not retrograde yet, but probably pre-shadow. Capricorn energy, Saturday. Sitar day, George wants me to tell you. I'm starting to gain some insight. 58 breaking down to 13. So we've seen those numbers already. 15, look at that. The devil on Saturn. Matchy matchy. I don't think I want to know what you did. I got a double here, so we have 10. Starting to gain some insight. I don't think I want to know what you did. It's like, oh, you did the... don't even fucking tell me. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. That is your karma, ain't... Nope. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, Trailways. 47, silver. Isis the moon goddess. I just heard Quicksilver, Mercury energy. Mercury retrograde is the end of the month, I think. Let me make weird noises while I'm thinking of it. Pre-shadow starts on the 14th. But we're picking up that Mercury retrograde pre-shadow the next day. It's like it takes a while for it to get all the way down into the basement where Capricorn is. They gotta pass the note like kids in a classroom. 47 breaks down to 11. But I see the Emperor number again. I see the 7 again for movement. It's completion. Let's see what this is. Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm getting sleepy. 6 of air. Things are looking up. The end of a difficult situation. Taking a trip. This is coming up out of the underworld. All this other stuff is going into the underworld. I don't know why I'm trying to... My brain wants me to say underwear. Six of air. 6 of swords. Is that the only swords that's come up? I think so. 6 of swords. Mercury in Aquarius. Ow, my jaw. I yawned really big. Mercury in Gemini. This is sailing away from the bullshit, and I feel like it goes with this card. Right? It's like, I'm not going to get wrapped up in your karmic issues. I'm moving on. I'm taking care of my own stuff. Right? I'm not going to be trapped by your societal paradigm anymore. What I'm gaining insight in is what this is, like the darkest keyhole. Like it took a few days for it to sink in what this meant on the new moon. Right? I'm starting to gain some insight, it took me a few days to get the message, but we're speaking about the moon on the 11th. I mean, it breaks down to 11. I know that this card is always going to break down to 11, but it's really particular right now because it's coming in with this insight about what's going on. I want to get another card for her. Okay. Cesium. Oh, I guess I need strontium too. Cesium, basis of time. And strontium, the luminescent self. We have 55 breaking down to 10, 38 breaking down to 11. 10, 11, 11, and 13. This transformation. Ooh. I think that's a cathode ray tube. No, I guess no, never mind. It reminds me of a cathode ray tube, which glows. But this is the cesium clock that measures the speed of light. Notice how I said it took a while for the message to get down. It's like there's no speed of light in the darkness. Things are moving too slowly because of the forced, like someone's put the brakes on the technology and now we can't hit warp speed. But this, the moon coming in with this cesium, 10, 11, and then 11, the luminescent self. It's like, no, like, get in, losers, we're upgrading. All right, I'm moving away from this essentially clogged, this is toilet plunger motion. The patriarchy is like a clogged toilet, and it's like, you know what, does it even matter what you were doing at this point? We know it was a bunch of BS. We're upgrading. We're gaining insight into newer technologies. We're going to pick a different timeline. I'm not gonna play with your karma. That's up to y'all. That's what I'm seeing for this week. So, hold on to your spacesuits. It's gonna be interesting. Let's put it that way. Alright, so that is the week overview. I'm gonna try to get this up to my sign. Sorry about not warning about moving the thing. The cough. Come on, cooperate. I guess that's about as good as it's gonna get. If you'd like to get a personal reading, you can email me. The cat came back at camp@gmail.com. All of these contact points, including my new baby website, are going to be through the link tree. There's not much there on the website. The complete list of readings is going to be in there. There's 2 pages, the home page and the readings list page. But the complete list of readings is also going to be in the description box underneath here, as well as the link tree. I think that's it. And yeah, I mean, if I tell you that there's timestamps in the description box, that doesn't really help anybody right now. So if you'd like to help keep my channel running, you can donate. That's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. Or if you'd like, you can get merch and prints and actual art items. I've got a couple of coloring books, dark poetry, some other things kicking around. Got some social media you can hang out with me on. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.